You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Lady sings that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you, doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of your family, because you're here to learn, grow, get to know stuff, learn more shit. And, that was going to be the original name of the podcast, Learn More Shit Podcast.com. But I don't know. It seemed to have a better ring with my name on it. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss won the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. Michael Dodsworth joins us. He is the founder and CEO of Fanfare. He spent 2 decades helping brands and artists navigate high-stakes product launches and events, often witnessing the agency of midnight meltdowns and crushed servers and bot-infested queues firsthand. Frustrated by these reoccurring nightmares, he founded Fanfare to tackle the problem from both sides, delivering fairness and transparency to fans, and giving brands powerful tools to turn hype into lasting loyalty. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm not sure about young man, but I appreciate it.
We gas everybody up on the show. It's an old Carson trick.
I'm doing well.
Thank you. Give us your .io or .coms, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs there.
People can always find me at fanfare.io. If any of this interests you, if you want to learn more shit about drops, please reach out. I'm always welcome in people to come in and talk to me about this stuff. So you can find me there. LinkedIn, I'm always on there for my sins. So you can reach out to me there too.
So give us a 30,000 over what you guys do there at Fanfare.
So if anyone has ever found themselves in a high stakes launch, whether that's for tickets to Taylor Swift, to Oasis, whether it's some retail experience, maybe it's a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a sneaker drop, maybe a product that you really, really wanted to go after, like we all have our things, you'll know that the consumer experience is always painful. It's staring at a spinner. It's feeling like the process is not transparent. You see all of those tickets disappear to the secondary market before you've had your chance in line. And it's just a painful experience again and again. And it almost feels like the pain is just part of the process. There's just this understanding that I have to pay this tax. If I want to get my Switch 2 on launch day, I'm just going to have to put myself through significant pain. And it doesn't have to be that way. So Fanfare is there for brands, for retailers, for ticketing vendors to ease that pain for customers and to allow brands to do really interesting stuff with those experiences.
And I've seen some of those failures of a launch in brands that we've helped at South by Southwest or CES show over the years, where, you get everything ready, you do all the prep work, and then you launch, and then people are like, I can't sign up to the app. And you're like, right. What's it doing? And they go, it's crashing or something like that. And then you call the guys in charge, and they're like, oh yeah, some developer, we're trying to get South by Southwest launched, so some developer pushed something into the live box instead of the sandbox. And now
it's always a painful thing. It's painful from both sides. Like having spent some time on the other side of that fence, there's just kind of pandemonium happening.
Oh yeah,
people are just kind of firefighting those kind of issues. And it really doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah, you're just like, and it always seems like they want to update shit at the last second, and then it mucks the whole thing up. You're like, why don't you just leave it alone? It was working a week ago. But, they're like, it's a new thing, But, yeah, I feel you on that. I've seen that movie before, and, of course, it's never my problem. So I just kind of go, You got thousands of people going to the website to sign up, and no one can sign up. Good job. So, like
Yeah, I mean, we've seen artists who they've been preparing for months.
yeah,
They've been working on a product, it's some collaboration, and they're ready, and just like that final hurdle, they just fall. And it's not because of something they did. They like the vendor fell over or something happened.
Yeah.
And, all of that work kind of gets squandered and you end up frustrating people, which is not where you want to be.
So how does Fanfare help you overcome that? What are some of the tools that you guys utilize that help get a successful launch? And I believe that's what you call a drop. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Like that kind of raffle, that kind of online draw, those are for sure like the model we're going after with drops. So we sit in front of whatever vendor you're using. So if you're a Shopify store, we'll sit in front of your product page and we'll facilitate that experience. So you can go into Fanfare, you can set everything up ahead of time. I can say my VIPs need to come in on Monday morning at 9. Everyone else gets access at 11 o'clock. Here's the kind of things we want around that launch. So grab people in a wait list, be able to reach out to people afterwards, and then we'll run that experience for you. So no more melting servers down when 3 million people show up.
3 million people hit the landing page.
Yeah, it's a really painful process to go through, and it's a really painful thing for even the vendors that are well-resourced, like a Shopify, Ticketmaster, Nike.
Really?
Like all of these brands have meltdowns, and it's just a hard problem to solve.
And so what you guys do is you guys create a front end to the website then, so that basically you guys take all the hit of all the power coming at you from 3 million people coming to sign up.
Yep, and we remove all those bad X's and bots. And for the brands, we try and capture all of the information about everyone that comes through. I fail multiple times to get my sneakers. You should know that as a brand. Maybe these people are potential VIPs.
Yeah,
right? They're just unlucky folks.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to have like a special club where you're, the L Club, where people who failed 5 times get to come into an exclusive launch just for them. That's how you reward people's time and effort.
Yeah, I could use that back in the day when I would try and buy the iPhone, and the iPhone was, it's crazy to get the early ones. Remember how they would slowly dole them out? It seemed like Apple would play games with it on purpose, but that's probably another thing. They're like, oh, we sold out of the first lot of them, and you're like, don't you make more? I mean, you guys have money. You're not broke. Like, are you broke?
Yeah. Broke? Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting model for the up and comers because you can experiment. Right? Like maybe like you're not sure if this is going to take off or not. You don't want a warehouse filled with something that's not going to sell. So you can put up a drop. Maybe you have 10 of a thing, 100 of a thing, and then you can make sure that like you understand what people want, what people go after, and like build things from there. You don't have to, fill a warehouse with things that are going to cause you problems. Yeah,
and I mean, when people come to your website, you can see their IP, you can see what computers they're logging in on, what their browser is. There's data you can get out of them and stuff. And can you reach out to people later after that on their IP or?
Yeah, I mean, if you sign up with like your email address, your cell phone number, and you opt in, like maybe you want to bring people into a discount for things after the fact. Like you didn't get the thing that you really wanted, but maybe there's something close that we can offer to you that will bring you back into that brand. So there's ways you can reach out to people afterwards.
And you guys have a book out or a pamphlet or something that people can get a hold of, the 5-step hype drop playbook. Tell us about what that is and what's up with that.
Yeah, I think having seen brands go through this pain and seeing what works, what doesn't work with brands, I think we wanted to try and capture that information. So people who are thinking about doing this model, who maybe they have an audience that they want to monetize. Maybe they have merchandise that they want to get out into the world, but they're not sure how to do it, how to structure it. So you can go to fanfare.ao/playbook, and we'll try and walk you through what are the to-dos, what are the things that you should avoid, the pains that we've seen before, and how you can run a successful product launch.
Now, I see a bunch of statistics and figures on your website. I don't know if you can remember them off the top of your head. I can cue you if you're not. But 30%, 33% higher intent, 30 times conversion lift, 306% LTV boost. Is this through utilizing some of the services that you guys offer?
Yeah, this is just with this model of running drops. Like that's what you see. If you're successful with one of these programs, like you get enormous lift. You're creating fandom around your brand. And once you get people really intrigued by what you're doing, like once they keep coming back and keep showing up to your brand, like that's a really powerful model if you can achieve it. I think, thinking about brands like Hermes, I think the ability to create a wait list that's 4 years long in some cases, like they can just dial up production and pull in more revenue when they need to fill gaps. That's not usually a thing that people get the opportunity to do. So it's a really, really powerful model if you can go after it.
Yeah. So pregame perfected. You sit down with them. You know how to do these well because this is your trade, and you get everything lined up, everybody on the same page. I mean, that was the one challenge we used to have back in the day when we work with brands to launch products is, we rely on them to do their job, and sometimes they're a large company and they, Bob didn't get the memo. And Bob pushes something into this that was supposed to go in the sandbox into the live version, and then the app doesn't work. It's like,
and sometimes like there's a limit that about. Like I know that Shopify is going to do a thing if I hit that limit, but I have no idea. Like, is this launch going to be the one that finally flips the switch on that experience? Am I going to find my customers just find themselves in a bad experience that's not of my making? And I didn't, necessarily know this was going to happen, but bots showed up, bad actors showed up and caused it to be painful. So we definitely hear that experience too is, maybe something takes off more than you expect. But now you're dealing with things on fire, frustrated customers. And, if you've created that anticipation and people really want the thing that you're selling, if you fall over in that moment, you cause extra frustration. So people get pretty irate when you fail during a drop.
Oh, yeah. And then they bail. They're like, yeah, F you and your brand. I'm not going to bother with you anymore. I'm not going to sit here and try and log in over and over. We've seen that live at standing in a crowd at South by Southwest, and everyone's sitting there going, we're trying to sign into the app right now. And just 404s.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Oh, wow. Let me make a call. So you guys control the chaos. Yeah, I forgot about the bots. There's bots that come for everything nowadays. And then tracking the actual intel so you can identify your super fans. I like how you do this VIP thing first, where VIPs can either pay to get in or get access. I guess if they're truly VIPs. And then you got your early access and you can push through. And that way, you get those VIPs in there and they help make the place look good, right?
Yeah, I think what drives fandom with folks, like what drives people to keep coming back, it's not things like discount codes, right? It's not things that like these kind of flat, boring experiences. It's exclusivity. It's the feeling that you're being treated as a special group, right? And I think that's like creating your VIP list, your subscriber list, whatever it is, and giving them early access, exclusive access, like moving them forward in line because they've spent time with the brand. Those are really important things.
And you guys do a thing called VIPs by design. Tell us about how that works.
Well, I think this is the feeling that, VIPs aren't necessarily the people who spend the most. Like maybe they're the people who spend the most time with an artist, with a brand, with a retailer. I think if we wind back to the Taylor Swift pre-sale that went poorly a few years ago, there was an attempt to try and get real fans in through the process. There's a realization that there's going to be enormous demand for these things, and we want to try and get real fans in at a reasonable price for those folks. But the way that was done was if you go out and buy 13 copies of the album, you get access to the pre-sale. So it felt like
copies. Wow.
yeah, it felt like you're squeezing people for more money to try and get access to this pre-sale.
Yeah.
So our attempt is try and gather as much information we can through these kind of experiences, through your interactions with a brand. Like maybe you do an unboxing experience and show that off in various places. Like we want to move you forward in line because you've done that with the brand. So kind of building the idea of loyalty beyond just how much revenue that person brings in.
Yeah, 13 albums, Taylor Swift albums. I might be 13 Metallica albums. I still haven't bought one Taylor Swift album, so But can you help with the launch that they did today of Taylor Swift and Kelsey getting engaged? That's a big huge news item today.
It is. I mean, if there's any merch going on sale, if they're going to put anything up, they've definitely crashed large vendors before when they've launched things. So absolutely, they should not crash Shopify again.
Maybe she should sell access. If you buy 13 albums, you get to live stream into the marriage, right, or something like that. I could see some merch here. Yeah,
we've done work with brands in the past where live streaming has been an element. Actually, so you have an audience. They show up on time, and maybe you want to have your celebrity go and meet and greet the fans.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can do. So it feels less painful, but I'm sure Taylor Swift would bring most sites to the ground if they decided to do something like that.
I mean, she was killing it with ticket sales with that thing. Speaking of ticket sales, there's some notes here about some different things you guys did with What We Learned trying to beat Ticketmaster. Was that involved with Taylor Swift or some other band?
Yeah, this was the company I was at before starting Fanfare. So this is kind of the origin story for Fanfare. So I joined a company called Rival. We were very on the nose with the name of the company, and we were going after the likes of Ticketmaster, the likes of Access. We were a primary ticketing vendor. We had the Kromkeys as early investors of ours, so we were targeting things like the Rams, SoFi Stadium, things like that. So we were going after Ticketmaster, and
people buy tickets to the Rams? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. I'm a Raiders fan. There's no one we buy tickets. We just cry about it.
Yeah, I'm more of a rugby fan, so this is all a wash for me. But yeah, we were going after those kind of experiences. It's a difficult area to get into. There's definitely a lot of problems you have to try and get your arms around to run an event like that. But we had a good system. We had a good process set up, and part of it was dealing with the 3 million Swifties turning up at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning, right? The bots showing up. But fast forward to the start of the pandemic, we were acquired by Ticketmaster.
Oh, really?
And sadly, that product didn't see the light of day. That kind of just added to my frustration about like, why is this not a solved problem? And then seeing it again and again in retail, it's a little cliche for an English person to be obsessed by queuing, but that's kind of where I am in my life. But yeah, it's a painful process wherever you are, ticketing, live events, and retail. So I think this carried forward.
Yeah, I mean, you've got those people that come in on Ticketmaster and they buy like bulk of stuff. And in fact, I think there's a group that buys Taylor Swift things in bulk that's under a lawsuit from the federal government now or something. Kind of interesting.
It's an interesting area, actually. I think the more we got into it and realizing, like, actually teams will use brokers themselves to try and mitigate some risk.
Yeah.
So, they're not sure if they're going to get to the playoffs. They're not sure how well the team's going to perform. If they perform poorly, now we're going to have to take a hit. So rather than do that, we're just going to offload that risk to a bunch of brokers. We're going to sell them. Whole chunks of the stadium are going to be gone to brokers before anyone really gets their hands on the tickets. So
that's what happens to my Raiders every year.
Yeah, it is. It's a crazy process.
Since 1995 or something, 92. It's funny. Ticketmaster just buys out its future competitors like Facebook does, and then somebody's come along doing something better, and they just buy it and ruin it, I guess. That's what Mark Zuckerberg does.
Yeah, it's and like I say, it's a difficult area to get into, and that's one of the issues. Is just have one vendor that has enormous market share and is open to doing things like that. It makes it very hard.
Oh, money's money. Hey, a better app than Facebook. Oh shit, Mark just bought it. So there's another thing you talk about. What legacy brands can learn from sneaker culture? What can we learn from sneaker culture?
I think brands like Supreme, the sneaker brands, Nike especially, have kind of been at the vanguard of this kind of drop experience, building fandom around their launches. Like especially Supreme, they could pretty much stick their logo on anything and people would show up. There'd be a 3-hour wait around multiple blocks for whatever it was. And I think that the idea of fostering loyalty and fostering fandom is something we've started to see spill out into different categories. You saw it with like Stanley with their Quencher. You see it with collectibles, with luxury items. You see more and more brands going after this. And I think for me, there's like a separation between the things that we need, like detergent, socks, the boring things. Like for those things, I want convenience. I don't need it to be a memorable experience. Like I want to immediately forget.
I'm not waiting in line for socks.
No, society has gone terribly wrong if we're waiting in line for detergent. But for the things I want, like that I'm going to dedicate time to researching, to understanding, to like the stuff that I really get into, that I care about, there should be a different experience. It should be more of a moment that you're creating around these products. Like the things that I remember from my childhood, they're like limited edition Super Metroid coming out and going down early in the morning. Like those kind of experiences really stick with people. And right now, like those experiences are one and the same. Like you just go to a flat product page. It's kind of like looking through a catalog. If people are old enough to remember when you did that, and it really hasn't moved forward. And I feel like it should be more of an experience and more of a moment.
And imagine the experience emotionally binds people to maybe loyalty to the product.
Yeah, I mean that definitely.
If they have a good experience.
Yeah, that's the flip side of that too. Is if you have a bad experience, you remember that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I felt a little bit differently about Nintendo having gone through the experience of buying Super Metroid Limited Edition way back in the 90s, probably. So yeah, I think it does. I think you want to create happy experiences for people. I think that's a learning also from the live event space. Is when we were talking to teams, it wasn't just about selling tickets. They wanted to craft experiences for people showing up. So, maybe if you brought your family for the first time and we have open seats in front, maybe you got to see the Dodgers and there's a bunch of open seats in front of you. Like maybe we move you forward, right? We give you better seats because this is the first time you've brought your kids to a game. Like that would be a cool experience and it would make you feel differently about the Dodgers. So interesting things like that, I think, can definitely move the needle with folks where like things like discount codes generally don't.
See the new generation. I mean, that used to be the way young men connected with their fathers, going to the baseball game. And that's,
Absolutely.
That's how you fall in love with baseball or just about any sport that your dad likes. I don't know though. The experiences I have waiting for tickets back in the day before Ticketmaster and having to sleep out overnight in front of some grocery store. And I remember an interesting ticket experience at the ZCMI department store for 2 hours, waiting. I don't know how many hours we waited in line outside the store. And then it took 2 hours to go through this line that went through a department store. And by the time we reached the end of the line to get the tickets, people were just wholesale stealing stuff off the rack and shoving their pocket. We're literally we're stealing socks and shit. They were just like, we're standing here for half an hour, so might as well rip shit off. And it's kind of, I can see why Ticketmaster became a thing. But yeah, I mean, we got Van Halen 1984 tickets in the first 2 hours, and we walked out of there. We probably were the last group of people to get the tickets. So in the end, I guess we were technically happy, but the experience was so miserable. I can remember to this day, 1984 to 1925 or 2025. how old am I? Anyway, so tell us about yourself, Michael. How did you get into this business? How did you get down this line? What were some of your influences growing up? What gave you the entrepreneur bug?
Yeah, so as you can probably tell from the accent, I'm not from around these parts. I came here through an acquisition, actually. So I got the bug for engineering at a fairly early age. So my brother came home with a Commodore 64 one day, with a tape deck and everything. And I started building things. We had this manual where you could make a balloon fly across the screen, and that was kind of hooked.
Magic.
From then on. Yeah, magic. And I just loved building things and carried on through university, and then ended up in London. And then a small company I worked for got scooped up by Salesforce, and the whole team went out from just west of London into San Francisco, which was an easy move for everyone. And then we spent some time there at Salesforce. And kind of the more I spent time dealing with these kind of gnarly scale issues, millions of people showing up trying to use Salesforce search Monday morning at 9. It's very similar to like Taylor Swift fans turning up all at once. So dealing with events like that, and then through to, there's a company just down the road from Salesforce called Optimizely, which was a growing company and had very similar issues to something like a Ticketmaster when Taylor Swift goes on sale. We had the New York Times as a customer, the Guardian as a customer, and we would find out about newsworthy events because like the servers started to feel some pain. So building services to scale was always something that I've been interested in. It's really gnarly technical problems, building things to scale this way. And then through into Rival and seeing that with ticketing and seeing the painful experiences that people go through. And, having gone through them myself, it felt like this is a problem that should be solved. There are solutions to these problems. Like you don't have to camp out overnight for an in real life experience. There are better ways to run these things. So wanting to fix that problem, having spent some time fixing problems very similar to this in other spaces.
Yeah. Gaming would be a big thing to fix these problems on gaming day launches.
Absolutely.
Jesus. I can't tell you how many games I've had or how many DLCs have been launched on the particular game. I remember Destiny launched a DLC one time and it was fucked up for a week. Like you can log in. It was like a mess. You just want to just be like, fuck you and your stupid game, and I'm gonna go play something else. And actually, if you do, give people time off enough in your game, they will go find other games to play and create new habit patterns.
Yeah, I think the Battlefield 6 beta was a week or two ago, like giant wait list, people waiting multiple hours to get into those things. So painful.
The launch of Battlefield 5 was painful as shit too. When you finally got in, it was just a piece of garbage. You're just like, what the fuck? You got tanks that can go up the side of buildings and shit and fly, and you're like, what? It was like really, you had weird graphics that you could see through the walls and stuff where like it was malformed and shit. You're like, who launched this crap? Yeah,
sometimes a beta like covers over a lot of things. It feels like sometimes it's almost there, sometimes it's like not even.
I don't even do betas anymore. It ruins me. It makes me want to quit the game just as it is. I'm like, I'm not going through that masochistic process with you. And even then, like there's nothing worse than on launch day, you've taken the day off from work and you're waiting for your favorite game to launch. You're sitting there and it's just the swirling's going on. You're one of 10,550 whatever can't get in, and you're just like, didn't you buy servers for this day? Like extra? Like I know that you can buy stretch servers. Like what the fuck? There's some games where I took a whole day off and I didn't get in till like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, brutal.
Or sometimes the next day, and I was like, seriously, just make me hate you. Oh, and then you want me to pay you more money for stuff? Like, you don't even spend the money in the right place. So, gaming would be a huge place for this. I could see that.
Yeah, I feel like getting people to pay for an experience that's like you're helping me develop it and I'm paying for it at the same time. Like that doesn't feel like a fair process to go through. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's like, what did I pay for? So yeah, anything more we want to talk about before we go, or tease out about the company, how you guys do it? Is there a minimum spend or a minimum size of company they have to be to work with you guys for these launches?
No, we actually work with a lot of like small up and coming brands and individuals. Like maybe you're an influencer that has a giant audience and you want to get things out to people. Like we work with those people too. We try to be careful in like how we structure the payment plans and so on. So like if you're just getting up and running with a service, there's hardly any costs associated with it. So you can get up and running and run a drop without much effort, really. So yeah, please reach out if people have something interesting that they want to set up, if they want to run an event like this. Always happy to talk to people about that. But yeah, if you want to go to fanfare.io and walk through the process and figure out how to run one of these things successfully, please do. We do have some interesting in real life stuff coming up. We have a conference coming up in September in Paris, and we're planning on showing something where we can run an in real life drop and have it be no pain involved and no like giant lines around the block. So trying to fix that particular painful process. Same queuing problem, less scale because people are there in person, but still the same painful processes. We saw someone do a launch in Manhattan where they were just basically throwing PS5s off the back of an SUV, and the police getting involved.
I remember that. Yeah,
exactly.
That was kind of wild, man.
Yeah,
that was wild. That many people showed up for a free PS5.
Yep,
and they weren't busy gaming either, because But yeah, that was kind of interesting. How many people showed up for that? But yeah, maybe you could do a launch for the invite. Who wants to be on the invite list to the wedding of Taylor Swift? I'm sure that's going to be a crazy bunch of celebrities that want to be seen at that one. I'm going to be lining up for the Kelsey Taylor Swift divorce court hearings. That's what I'm going to go start hanging out in front of a court waiting for that one to go down, because I think it's pretty much a guarantee at this point.
You set up the wait list already.
Yeah. She probably 7-10 years maybe. That seems to be the average. What, the average marriage is 7 years now? Yeah. All right. I know where to put my list then. So yeah, you can launch. Maybe you can start a wait list for the guys who can date her after they divorce. Anyway, I'm just right now I'm getting an email, I'm sure, from Swifties. Yeah. How dare you?
They're a motivated group.
Yeah, they are. And I like Taylor Swift. She's a really nice person, and so does Kelsey, even though he's tends to beat us Raiders in our league. But I wish him no harm. But if he beats us again in the Super Bowl, I'm going to wish for her to take him to cleaners and divorce. No, I'm just kidding. Being just funny, folks. Don't do that. Anyway, I wish them both well, and their divorce lawyers. So thank you very much for coming on. Give us your .io and any .coms you want people to find you as we go out.
Yep. Well, it's good to be here, and fanfare.io is where you can always find me. Like I say, LinkedIn, I'm always camped out on there as well. So if you just want to message me, say hello, please do.
Sure. I'll just message you, say hello,
Sure, absolutely.
Hey, how's it going, eh? What do you need? Nothing. I just called to say hello. So thank you very much, Michael, for coming to the show. Really appreciate it. It's been fun to have you on, and great data. And I'm glad somebody made a thing for this, because, I've seen a lot of just horrible launches, and just like, oh, man, for the love of God.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that pain going away,
Yeah. It's like, here's what, it's 3 days before the event. Don't touch anything. Leave all the buttons alone. But no, it helps having that frozen. I'm sure that you have. Don't even think about anything. So anyway, thank you very much, Michael, for coming on the show. Thanks to our audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe, or we'll see you next time. And we'll see you next time. And or either way. Bye-bye.